was ranked last year, top 25 in his class. And then really, I don't know how DJ flew under the radar. I mean, I would say if Braylon's top 25 or top 10, DJ's got to be top 10, top 25 as well. Like, they go tit for tat. I can't tell you that that one, they have different skill sets, but they're both important. You got to have, if you want to have a national team, you got to have a point guard, and you got to have a guy like DJ who can kind of do it all. They both do it all, but it's just been kind of interesting to see how that's gone away from the city of Memphis and now gone to more of the municipal areas because of what the money's been able to help them do. I hope the city of Memphis can figure out a way to counterbalance and start really reinvesting in their young people. Really reinvest.
It's going to be hard unless they invest into the schools to give better facilities and stuff like that. It's going to be really difficult to compete with the municipality schools and compete with the Catholic schools or even some of the other private schools unless they put the money into the facilities or bring in coaches with some money background like Will Kemp or Penny Hardaway or stuff like that. Coach Stagg, Coach T. If you have a coach that already has the resources, that helps build a program as well. I know a lot of people, even here, they always talk about, hey, this player put the program on a national standpoint, and it's just not like that no more. It's the coaches that's going to bring the players in, is willing to schedule, like how Simeon scheduled and stuff like that. And it's because of the coaches that bring that tradition and build that program up and bring those players in. If you don't have those coaches, the players are not going to come.
Man, you're so right about that, Nate. You're so right about that. And I think that most of these guys have realized that coaching doesn't pay, that training pays. Mm-hmm. So what you have now is a lot of trainers. You don't have a lot of coaches. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a big separation in a trainer and in a coach. And so all of these guys have all figured out that they can get on social media themselves, and they all try to focus on their skills training workouts as opposed to, being a coach. And so I think a coach has to have all of the skills. I think a real coach has to have the X's and O's, has to be a great motivator, has to be the leader of the ship, have to be the captain. And you have to know the game. You have to skills train. You have to know nutrition. You can't just focus on one thing. You have to be able to have it all. And then still be cool enough to have a connection with the people in the city so that you can get those resources to your kids. And that's what we're starting to see a lot less of. I'm seeing a lot of guys that just can show you how to do a tween cross, kind of thing. And let's show you this move and that move. But they don't tell you how it's practically used in a game. And so a lot of these kids get lost even to today, where they're not understanding, like, yeah, that's not going to work unless you're in transition. You're going to, in a situation where you're having to go through multiple defenders. And even then, you got to play 0.5 basketball where you got to get off the ball. So, it's definitely changed a lot. And I hope that the city can find more coaches or these trainers can start to develop into coaches and not just be, just not be a specific trainer, but want to do the coaching. I just know that coaching doesn't always pay the most money. You're the long nights. You got to do the
and that's another thing that we really didn't get into. The Catholic schools, I don't know how the municipality schools do, but here in the suburbs, in the whiter suburbs, suburbs with more money, I guess I should say, and the Catholic schools, they pay more than the city schools. Now you got Coach Rob didn't get paid. Coach Rob probably got paid $6,000 a season for everything that he did. Number one team, number one players, national schedule, and then there were teams lesser than his team. He won 4 state titles. There were suburban coaches getting paid $50 to $20K a season. Coach Rob's getting paid $6K a season. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if Nike or Adidas was throwing him something under the table, but he did all of that. He's only getting paid $6K a season.
They probably were. The other money that I think a coach can try to make, but again, this goes back, as terrible as it sounds, it's got to go back to doing twice as much work with less money is, you got situations where now they got to run camps, where they got to put more time away from their family. They got to
run a college program at the high school level.
Places, and they've got to set events. They've got to have different, different play dates. They got to run run all of this scheduling so that they could afford just to be able to coach. I mean, it's not easy to coach. You got to really love coaching basketball if you're going to do this as your only profession. Like, you got to love it. You got to stay in the gym. You got to find ways to make things work financially to really get it done. So, fortunate for myself, I've been able to be in the restaurant industry and do some building and some real estate. So with that being the case, I've just been very fortunate to be able to do that, and I know that because if it wasn't the case, I don't know if I could spend the time that I did or I have been able to do building programs the way that we did. My last college stop was with family of yours, and I mean we had the best. We went to the state, to our championship twice out of the 6 years I was there. Every other year we seemed like we're going to play for the championship, for the title, and then we had the best winning record under that staff. I think we ended up having like 20 over 20 something plus wins, and so it's been great. But at the same time, there's a lot of on the road recruiting calls, taking care of events, where it has to be on your own dime because the school might not have those resources, so you have to kind of do it yourself, or, it just doesn't get done. So if you want to be competitive, you have to invest in yourself. You have to believe in your ability to be able to coach and recruit, and then you have to put some of that money back in so that you can reinvest to be able to build a program up. And then the hope and dream is so that you can get that opportunity to finally make it to a program where you're not having to do all of that, or it actually pays itself off. So, coaching has kind of also changed up a little bit with that. And I wish some of the NIL money would start coming to some of the coaches. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes,
I wish
that's
there was a
true.
way to be able for us
That's
to get a
true.
small portion of it. It's not for us, at least for the
That's true.
program. Like,
And
if you get a guy that's a top 25, we're gonna send you a couple extra pairs of shoes and some tickets to go recruit. Like,
hey,
that's the next phase.
hey,
You
that's
know?
true. I mean, that's true. You can tell Coach Rob, hey, because you have Derrick Rose, you deserve to get paid more because you have that player on your team, and we want to see that player at our tournaments. We want to see them play Oak Hill Cat. You know what I'm saying? That would be great.
Right.
We want to see him at the Nike tournaments. We want to see him at our summer leagues. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times it just, I guess back in the day, I've heard those stories where coaches were able to kind of do that. When I told you about the $10,000, supposedly the coach at King, he told the coach at Georgetown, hey, it's gonna be 10,000 to even step on his doorstep. And I was like, wow, that they could do that, and a lot of times coaches have that control. But what come with NIL is parents, and there always was the uncle or the brother who wanted somebody to hit his hand. But I would say now, I think parents have a little bit more control than the coaches do with the whole NIL collective and things like that.
Yeah.
There was,
I think coaches have gotten X'd out of it. I really do. I
yeah,
really think coaches have gotten X'd out of it. Back in the day, you used to call the coach to get your hands. Like you said, the coach would be the one to set the deals up. Now, the coach doesn't matter. Again, it goes back to the kids are making more money than the coaches are. So what do you need the coach for? If I can go directly to you, hit you on social media, tell you who I am, I'm going to promote you, I'll get you to the next level, I'll get you seen, and then go from there. So, I would say, again, going back to doing business differently, that's something that's different. Coaches at the high school level have been X'd out. Now, coaches that have associations with Adidas, Nike, and and even that Pumas, is coming up, Under Armour, and then now I think New Balance is the other one as well. But those guys have a lot more, or starting to have a little bit more control, like the coaches used to have, because they're able to travel. They've only got one or two kids, that are at that level, so they get to move a little bit, and then they build those relationships. Because as crazy as it sounds, we want to believe in the perfect world. You want to think, well, high school basketball, college basketball, the AAU circuit is all about trying to help these kids promote themselves so that they could get the platform that they need to showcase their skill sets and go to these colleges. But the truth of the matter is, it's all about putting on tennis shoes. It's all about putting on some gear, snapping pictures, of that person on there, and then they just want to follow the follow. And
Yeah.
that's really what it comes down to. I'm going to tell you, I would, and mark my words, in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to start to see a lot more of the academies. Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas are going to find a way to overtake or to partner even further, like they're doing with the prep schools. You have like there's 10 or 12 scholastic schools that are Nike program schools, like the Oak Hills. I think Linked is one of those. No, I think Linked is.
Is
Yeah,
IMG?
Linked
What
is.
is
Yeah, Linked
what
is a
is
Nike
IMG?
school. You know, IMG. So you're going to start to see where they're going to, instead of even trying to run all these crazy, you know, where you're going to try to get rid of all of these tournaments because it costs money to put up a tournament. It costs money to be able to go to 4 or 5 different places and then rent it out and get the crews and get the security and get the everything that goes along with it. I think it would make more sense for them to start these academies and then literally just try to over over recruit those 10 to 12, 15, 20 programs, and then have 20 academy schools that could partner with the USA Olympic basketball and partner with the where you're starting to take your players overseas and then bring in overseas players that come to your academy, and then they're going to try to do that, and I think they're going to try to try to walk away a little bit from a lot of the tournaments. Um, I've noticed a lot of the Nike, we'll say Nike, just the shoe brand deals have started to eliminate. If they could do it with 30 teams and they have 36, they're not going to keep 36 teams.
Right.
They're going to keep 30. If they could find a way to get it down to 24, they're going to get it down to 24. If they're going to get it down to 10, they'll get it down to 10. So I think that they're going to start to take over that market as well.
So you think? So you think instead of, and you're talking about the high school level, so you think it's similar to what they're doing in Africa and Australia, where the NBA has started their own NBA academies. You think the shoe companies are going to do the same thing in the United States at the high school level?
100%. You're going to see private / prep schools sponsored by a shoe brand deal combined it with the caveat that I need to have 3 or 4, 2 or 3 5-stars, and then the rest got to be 4-stars. And I want to put those guys on a team, like the Mount Verdes, the IMGs, the Oak Hills, the Linked Academies. They're going to go towards more of those type of things where they get to. All right, so think about this. If I can, the one downside, if you water down the talent in AAU basketball, back, like the Marvin Bagley days. I say back, that wasn't that far ago, but Marvin Bagley, I think, was the last time that they had it where he had his own team. Marvin Bagley was a phenomenal basketball player, but he was the only guy on that team. And so you would see a lot of watered down talent because everybody wanted to start their own team. They didn't want to combine them together. So if you wanted to go see how he played, you'd have to go and watch that one team. Well, as a scout, right, do you really get to see if he plays another team that has no talent? Do you really get to see what he can do against high-level talent? And then secondly, how many games can you eliminate in a year if you were to combine all of the best talent, put them in one arena, playing the best of the best, going at it, and then seeing how you can scout and what the future is? I think you could find that you don't have to travel as much. It'll save you some time. You get to see how they play against the best of the best. Kind of more like a miniature NBA, miniature G League that hits the national level. I mean, the world level, where now you can take the best of the high school guys, and then now you want to branch that idea and turn it into, all right, let's take these guys and go play. For example, IMG is going to go play, the West African team, and then Oak Hill is going to go and play the Spanish team.
Right.
That type of thing where now you're able to make it where you're crossing it, because I think the viewership in the NBA has gone down so much because of how the game has changed at the NBA level. I think they realize if they're going to have better viewership, it might not come because of the local guys. It's going to become because of the European guys coming over here, and then having to make it more of a world view than just an American view. China's really big in it. Russia's really big in the basketball. Spain's really big. The France. You see what's going on in Canada and France. Basketball is starting to become international.